What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and I just purchased 4 different fourplexes from 4 different sellers, all in under 1 month. And I came to the conclusion that finding, analyzing, and buying a fourplex as an investment property is so simple if you follow this step-by-step process. In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what I did so that you can do it too. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, I've been investing in real estate for the last 9+ years. I currently own 180 units of residential real estate. I also own some storage unit complexes, and I love all things real estate investing. However, things weren't always this way. When I started, I went 2 full years looking for my first investment property before I finally pulled the trigger. Now, during that time, I had lots of excuses. I blamed the market, I blamed deal flow, I blamed my finances, and I'm sure there were tons of other excuses that I used. However, I learned a ton through 2 years of buying no real estate. More importantly, I learned a ton more through the last 8 to 9 years of buying lots of real estate, making lots of mistakes, and getting to the point where I have a perfect formula for finding, analyzing, and buying investment properties. In this video, I'm gonna give you the exact formula I use that makes it so simple to find an incredible cash flowing investment property. The only thing that I ask you to do is remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And now that we've covered that, let's jump into it. Now, there are a couple prerequisites that you have to get checked off the list that I'm not gonna be able to cover in this video, but they should be pretty self-explanatory so that you can figure them out so that you're ready to jump into actually finding and purchasing your first or second or fifth fourplex using this formula. First off, you've got to figure out the finances. If you don't have enough money for a down payment, that's something you have to figure out. Now, you can do this through partnering with someone. You can do this through just making extra income and using it as a down payment. Whatever it is, you've got to find a way to solve that money problem so you can get into your first investment property. Second off, you've got to use financing for at least 75%, and if possible, because you can live in one of the units, more. And this involves making sure that you've got a good credit score, good debt to income, and you can jump through all of the hoops when it comes to paying taxes and having proper reserves so that you can get approved for a loan with the bank. Now, this sounds overwhelming, but I promise you, if you get a loan officer on the phone, they're gonna be able to help you see exactly what you need to do to get all of these things in the right place. And if you've built up good credit and you have money in the bank and you've paid taxes on the money you've made instead of lying to the government, odds are you're already pre-approved and already in a financial place where you could purchase an investment property. But you've gotta get these things right before you can. And if these things aren't right, then the first thing you got to figure out is, hey, how can I put myself in a place where I'm making a good income? Because if you're not doing that, that's where you need to start. Next, you need to narrow in on what you're shopping for. And that's why I made this video super focused on fourplexes. If you know you're looking for a fourplex, you can look at your area. That means it's gonna be in this price point, it's gonna be in this kind of neighborhood, the rents are gonna be this much, and it's going to have a purchase price of this much. For me particularly, I've got lots of different things that I can focus on because I know how to buy duplexes and fourplexes and 20-unit apartment complexes and 30-unit apartment complexes. And so now I've got deal flow coming in all of these different areas, and you can get to that point, but right now, if you want to buy a fourplex, focus in on that fourplex. Now, if you don't know how to look and say, well, hey, I don't know how to run the numbers, I don't know what purchase price it should be at, well, there's great news because I run you through exactly how to run the numbers on any and all rental properties, and you can do it using my free app. You just hop onto the App Store, plug in CDS Rental Calculator, download the app, and then you can start plugging numbers in. And if you look at your area and say, all right, I want to buy a property in a B neighborhood, then you know exactly what you're looking for. You know what the average rents are in this area, so you know, hey, this property has rents that are low, or this is as high as these rents are going to be, so that this needs to be your purchase price. If you don't know how to do that, my advice to you would be, hey, this is something you've got to learn. And if you want to learn how to do it, it's a much longer conversation, and you can go click the link below and grab my real estate investing course that's going to run you through all of those steps. Now, keep in mind, I'm not making this video to pitch you on my course, but there is some work that goes into understanding your market and really dialing in what a good deal looks like. So I'm going to give you the short and condensed version of how to do it. First off, you wanna look at all of the fourplexes you can in this area. If you're gonna buy one that has 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, you wanna figure out what that rent's for, and you wanna figure out what kind of return you wanna get. I personally want a 12% cash on cash return. So I'm gonna jump into my app, I'm gonna plug in the purchase price, I'm gonna plug in the expenses, I'm gonna plug in the taxes, I'm gonna plug in insurance, I'm gonna plug in the rents, and I'm gonna say, hey, does this give me the cash on cash return that I want? If it doesn't, then I need to do something. I either need to find a way to make these rents so that they're more, or the purchase price so that it's less, and it's that simple. And that's why it's fun to look at a particular market where you can get someone to sell you their property at a discount, either because they haven't increased rents or just because they are a motivated seller and they want to unload the property. But that's all this formula is. If you can find a property that meets your desired return, once you've been able to do renovations or increase rents, then that property is worth purchasing, and then you go through the process of purchasing it. Now, this is where everyone hits their hang up. They're like, all right, Chandler, awesome. I know how to plug it in. I know what a good deal looks like because I've plugged in my income, my expenses, the purchase price. The problem is every property that I look at on the MLS where I can say, hey, these are the rents, this is the purchase price, it doesn't give me a 12% cash on cash return. It gives me a 5% cash on cash return. And I put it in a lowball offer and somebody else bids me out and they beat my offer. So I get what you're saying, but I'm not finding any deals that meet that criteria. So what do I do now? Here is what I did for all 4 of these properties. I hopped on to Ryan Dossey's website at Ballpoint Marketing, and I'm gonna include a link below so that you can get 10% off to do this. I connected with his team. I sent out mailers to all of the properties that met my criteria. So I said, hey, I want 4plexes in this area, and you can even clarify and say, hey, I want them to have a certain amount of equity, or I want them to be in this age range where I know these owners have owned them for a long time. And then I sent out mailers to all of these people. Now, the thing that's so cool about Ryan is he now has a team that can field the calls, filter through them, and send you the most motivated sellers. Or you can field the calls yourself. Either way, you get his lists and you get his mailers, and you can send them out to find motivated sellers before they get to the MLS where you're competing with lots of people. Now, in other videos, I've said, hey, there are all of these different ways to create deal flow. Don't mess around with any of them because I've found extreme success using these mailers. I've only done it twice. I've spent very minimal money. I think I spent maybe $400 on the first batch and I got 2 deals out of it. I spent closer to $900 or $1,000 on mailers on my second batch, and I got 4 different deals in an extremely competitive market where interest rates have just gone up, and I found incredible deals because 1, he has his system extremely dialed in, but 2, people want to sell right now. There's a lot of fear in the market and they're willing to sell and give a massive discount. 1, because they haven't talked to a realtor. 2, they don't want to deal with a realtor or paying a realtor. And 3, there's lots of scary things creating fear in this market. So sending out mailers and then fielding those calls, meeting with motivated sellers and just being honest with them and saying, hey, this is where I need to buy your property for my numbers to work. If that doesn't work, I'm sorry, I can't buy your property. If it does, I'll buy your property. You don't have to pay a realtor and you can sell it now before interest rates continue to go up. That line right there, just being completely transparent and upfront with people, was able to bring in a ton of deals. Now, did I get a lot of no's? Of course I did. Did I look at properties that I didn't buy? Yeah, but the return on my time was incredible compared to sifting through the MLS and putting in offers where I never got the deals because my numbers didn't work on the MLS. But when you go off market, you're cutting out realtors and you're dealing with people that are motivated but that are fearful. It is an absolutely incredible way to find deals. Now, in the past, I've talked about using Ryan Dossey and it's been awesome. But right now I am so bullish and I'm gonna send more mailers. The only thing I ask you to do is stay out of my market. The other thing that's really cool about this is I've become very good friends with Ryan through this process. So he's given me a link below where for me and you can get 10% off of his mailers, which is an absolute steal. When I look at what I've spent on mailers and what it's going to make me over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, I am just flabbergasted. I've never pulled in this good of deals in this kind of market in any other way. And so I am a huge believer in using the mailers. Once you meet with the seller and say, hey, this is where I need to purchase your property at because this is what I think I can get rents to, and this is where my numbers work. And I'm sorry, a month from now when interest rates go up, I'm not gonna be able to pay this, I'm gonna be able to pay less. Take it or leave it, and you say that in a nice way, even if you're not a salesman, even if you're not good at working with people, they're gonna consider it. And if it works, they're gonna say yes. If it doesn't, they're gonna say no, but you're gonna be able to take things into your hands and not be competing against other people where you're not getting your offers accepted. And if you know what rents should be in that area, and you know what purchase price you need to be at so that your numbers work, then you purchase the property, you get the loan, and you now own the property. You obviously have to set up management, but if you hire a good management company, they're gonna take care of it, and now you own a fourplex that is cash flowing like crazy, and you are pumped out of your mind. Now, the last little thing I will add is this is very simple. However, in order to go through this entire process, I created a course that's 10 hours long with a ton of PDFs and checklists and due diligence and all of that other stuff. Because if you want to do it right, you've got to make sure that you know how to do all of these things. And for me, that's become very simple, but I can't cram all of this into a video, nor would the YouTube algorithm push it so that you see it. And the really exciting thing about my course is I just added a Discord that we're going to be uploading within the next week or two. And I'm going to start doing monthly calls with everyone that's involved in the course. So no pressure on the course. It is pretty straightforward if you use his mailers and go through that. And if you already know that process, just go do that. But if you don't know the process and you're feeling overwhelmed, I can give you the step-by-step process in my course with checklists and everything else you need. And you can pick that up with the link in the description as well. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.